They believed no one would come. Then Earth's warriors fell from the sky. Tiny pulses of energy, almost like a heartbeat, repeated in patterns that he had never seen before. He tapped the keyboard, zooming in on the readings, trying to make sense of them. The patterns were too precise to be natural. "You seeing this too, Megan?" he asked, glancing at Megan Price, who was leaning over her own console. She squinted at the display, her brown eyes narrowing. "Yeah, Alex, it's strange," Megan said slowly. "It's like someone is trying to talk to us, but I don't understand the language." Alex shook his head. "No, it's not a language, it's more like scouting signals. Someone is out there watching." Megan frowned. "Watching who?" Alex leaned back, rubbing his face. "Us, Earth." Outside the station, the black void of space was calm. Tiny stars sparkled, distant and cold. The human colony was quiet tonight. Most of the people were asleep, unaware of the signs of danger beyond their small world. Alex and Megan had spent years monitoring space for threats, but even they had never seen anything like this. In a distant star system, the alien scouts were also watching. Their sleek ships moved silently between planets and asteroids. They had seen Earth from afar for a long time, noting its small conflicts and weak defenses. They had concluded humans were disorganized and easily defeated. Their leaders laughed as they discussed it in the council chamber aboard the main ship. "They will not resist," said the commander with pale green skin and eyes that reflected the room's lights. "They cannot even defend their own settlements. We have only to strike and all will be ours." Another officer nodded. "We have observed their world for decades. They are divided, their politics, their disputes, they will not unite even to protect themselves." The commander smiled, a slow, confident curl of lips. "Good, then we will take what is ours. And Earth will be nothing more than a story, a warning to others who might challenge us." Back on Earth, Alex and Megan continued their work. Reports from other stations had begun arriving, each one describing strange disturbances in space. Small debris movements that did not match any known orbit, signals that appeared and disappeared without reason, lights in places where there should be none. "This is getting worse," Megan said, her voice tight. "We need to tell the council." Alex nodded. "We will. But they might not listen. Every time we've warned about unusual activity, it's been ignored. Politics and budgets always come first." Hours passed, and the signals became more frequent. Alex noticed a pattern emerging, a slow, almost deliberate series of pulses that moved closer to the outer edge of the solar system. He marked the coordinates, his mind racing. "They're moving," he said finally, "toward the human colonies." Megan leaned closer. "Then it's not just observation, they're planning something." Alex swallowed hard. "Yes, and if we're right, we need to prepare, fast." On Earth, life continued as normal. People worked, ate, and slept without thinking of the stars beyond their world. But in hidden rooms and stations, humans who had always prepared for emergencies were quietly taking steps. Old ships were being checked, weapons upgraded, communications reinforced. Volunteers signed up to assist in ways that might never reach the public eye. In one of the orbital hangars, Luke Harris supervised the loading of cargo onto a transport vessel. He was tall, with sharp features and a calm presence that drew respect. He watched the crew carefully, making sure every step was precise. Beside him, Laura Bennett, a strategist, adjusted the manifest. "We may not get a second chance," Laura said softly. "We have to make sure everything is ready before anything happens." Luke nodded. "I know, and we will. No one else can do this for us." In another part of the station, Alex and Megan were still analyzing the signals. The pulse patterns had become almost rhythmic, like a heartbeat speeding up. Alex frowned. "They're learning our movements, watching how we respond. It's intelligent. They're not just scouts, they're studying our behavior." Megan's lips pressed together. "And if they see weakness." Alex did not answer. He knew the answer too well. The thought of human colonies destroyed, of lives lost because someone underestimated the Earth, made his stomach turn. In the Alien Council, the discussion continued. "We will send a small force first," said the commander. "Let them believe it is only a routine strike. They will fall and we will take control before their main forces can react." "And if they resist?" asked another officer. The voice trembled slightly. "What if they fight back?" The commander laughed. "They will not. Humans are scattered, weak, and divided. Resistance is useless. They may delay us for a moment, but we will adapt. We are not like them. We do not rely on hope." Hope. The word hung in Alex's mind as he looked at the glowing screen. Humans had hope, yes, and determination. They had survived centuries of disasters, wars, and divisions. Maybe the aliens underestimated what made humans strong. Maybe that would be the difference when the time came. He turned to Megan. "We need to warn the colonies. And we need to make sure the people on Earth are prepared too. This isn't just another observation. This is the beginning." Megan nodded. "I'll start sending alerts to the communication networks. Quietly. We can't panic anyone yet, but we need readiness." Hours turned into days and the alien scouts moved closer. On Earth, scientists, soldiers, and volunteers worked tirelessly. Old cargo ships were fitted with defensive shields. Small fighter crafts were armed and tested. Civilians trained for evacuation, and military units coordinated across the planet. In a quiet command room, Alex, Megan, Luke, and Laura met for a late-night briefing. The air was tense, filled with anticipation and quiet fear. "We're not ready to fight a full fleet," Laura said, shaking her head. "But we can delay them. We can make them pay for every inch of space they take." Luke's eyes hardened. "And that's what we will do. Every station, every colony, every planet that matters, we defend. No one else can do it for us." Megan added, "And we need to prepare civilians. If they think it's impossible, they might give up. We need them to trust us, to survive long enough for help to arrive." Alex looked at all of them, his eyes lingering on the faces of people who had dedicated themselves to the same cause. "They think we are weak. They think we will hide. They are wrong. We may be small, scattered, and divided, but when we stand together, we are stronger than they imagine." In the alien fleet, preparations were underway. Ships were being readied, weapons loaded, and attack routes plotted. Their confidence was unshakable. In their eyes, humans were not a threat. They did not even consider the possibility that humans could unite, could fight, or could answer the call for help that might come from beyond their own world. Back on Earth, at a small orbital outpost, Alex and Megan watched as the first signs of the alien force approached the outer colonies. Their hearts pounded, not with fear but with determination. This was the moment when humans would be tested, when they would have to show that they were not as weak as the aliens believed. "They're coming," Megan whispered, staring at the black sky. Alex nodded. "And we will be ready." As the stars outside the station flickered with the approaching fleet, humans continued their quiet preparations. Every ship checked, every signal monitored, every person trained for the unimaginable. On Earth, life would continue, but beneath the surface, warriors were gathering, ready to defend their home, their people, and their future. The aliens may have believed no one would come, that humans would hide, that hope was a weakness. But Alex, Megan, Luke, Laura, and countless others knew a different truth. Humans had survived worse, adapted faster, and fought harder than anyone expected. The first battle was yet to come, but the stage was set. The Watchers of Earth had underestimated the human spirit, and that mistake would change everything. And as the night fell over the colonies, one thing was certain. The people of Earth were no longer just observers. They were preparing to rise. The signals from space were no longer just mysterious patterns. They were a warning, a challenge, and a call to action. And the warriors of Earth would answer. Whether anyone expected it or not, Noah King stood on the edge of the training platform, watching the soldiers below as they ran drills. Each one moved with precision, but the weight of the upcoming conflict was clear in their faces. He adjusted his helmet and checked the readouts on his wrist device. Every signal, every movement of the alien scouts had been tracked, analyzed, and studied. Yet even with all the preparation, the unknowns were vast. "We need more intensity," Noah said, his voice carrying over the shouting of the recruits. "They will not fight like we expect. They will be faster, smarter, and more dangerous. We have to train like that now." Below him, the soldiers pushed harder, sprinting with heavy packs, diving through obstacle courses, and firing at moving targets. Sweat ran down their faces, but determination burned in their eyes. They knew what was coming. They knew that the aliens thought humans were weak. And they were ready to prove that belief wrong. Hannah Brooks, coordinating the orbital operations from a nearby control room, watched the simulations on her screens. Each display showed troop movements, potential alien attack paths, and supply lines. She tapped commands quickly, adjusting scenarios, trying to anticipate every possibility. Her mind raced, not just with strategy but with worry. Every decision could mean life or death for thousands of people. "Noah, they are learning fast," she said over the comm. "If we don't adapt, they will outmaneuver us before the first strike even begins." Noah nodded, though she could not see him. "I know. That's why we push them harder. Every soldier must be ready to think, act, and fight under pressure. The moment we hesitate, we lose." Back on Earth, the human fleets continued to assemble in secret. Cargo ships were refitted into warships, fighter crafts were armed and tested, and communication networks were strengthened. Engineers worked day and night, welding armor plates, calibrating weapons, and creating new technology designed to give humans an edge in battle. Civilians trained in survival, medical aid, and defense. Even children learned basic emergency drills, though no one told them about the full scale of the threat. In one hangar, Megan Price inspected a fighter ship. Her hands moved over the controls with ease, checking systems and running diagnostics. The engines hummed, the shields glowed faintly, and weapon systems were ready. She looked at her reflection in the canopy glass, seeing determination and a hint of fear. She shook her head and stepped back. Fear was natural, but it could not control her. She had a mission, and she would see it through. "All systems green," she said into her comm, "ready for deployment whenever needed." Alex Brown joined her, carrying a tablet filled with new intelligence reports. He scrolled through the latest observations, his brow furrowed. "They're moving faster than expected. Their scouts have shifted positions. It's almost like they know we are preparing." Megan looked at him sharply. "They can't know everything. We've hidden most of our fleets, haven't we?" Alex nodded. "Yes, but some movements are visible. They might be testing our reactions, seeing how we respond. It's smart, but we can use it against them too. We need to be unpredictable, take risks they won't expect." At the same time, on the ground, civilians were being trained for emergency drops and sheltering. Supplies were distributed, medical teams were briefed, and evacuation routes were mapped. Every person played a role, every action mattered. No one was idle, and everyone understood the stakes. In a quiet briefing room, Laura Bennett and Luke Harris reviewed the plans one final time. Maps of the colonies, orbital positions, and alien patrol routes covered the table. "We can't match them ship for ship," Laura said, pointing at a fleet diagram. "But we can hit where it hurts: fast strikes, coordinated attacks, and disruption of supply lines. We make every move count." Luke nodded. "And the civilians, we can't just leave them behind." "We won't," Laura said firmly. "They will be safe if we coordinate. Shelters, evacuation pods, and hidden bunkers. They will survive, and that will be part of our strength. Nothing breaks morale like unnecessary loss." As the days passed, training intensified. Soldiers ran through simulations. Engineers worked on the weapons, and pilots practiced evasive maneuvers in zero gravity. Noah and Hannah coordinated closely, testing every strategy, planning for every possible attack. Every exercise was designed to teach adaptability, quick thinking, and resilience. "Remember," Noah said to a group of soldiers, "the aliens think we are weak. They believe we will flee, surrender, or hide. We show them the opposite. We fight together, we think together, and we never give up." The soldiers cheered, their spirits lifted by his words. They ran the course again, faster, smarter, and more focused. Every obstacle, every drill, and every exercise was a preparation for the unknown. Hannah monitored a simulated orbital drop, tracking virtual troops as they descended toward an occupied colony. She adjusted wind patterns, gravitational pulls, and enemy responses, making sure the soldiers below learned to adapt in real time. "Good," she said quietly to herself. "If they can survive this, they can survive anything." On one of the orbital stations, Megan prepared a squadron of fighters for a test sortie. Each craft gleamed under the station lights, engines ready for action. She climbed into her own ship, the familiar seat fitting her like it was made for her. She checked the controls, ran diagnostics, and felt the familiar rush of adrenaline. "All wings ready?" she asked over the comm. "Ready," came the responses. "Let's show them what humans can do." The ships launched into the dark void, their engines leaving streaks of light against the black. They performed maneuvers, practiced formation flying, and simulated combat with invisible enemies. Every movement was precise, calculated, and tested against countless scenarios. Back on the ground, civilians were being briefed on the upcoming operations. Supplies were checked, medical stations prepared, and communication drills repeated. Teachers taught children simple emergency steps, while parents and volunteers ensured everyone knew their role. Even though the full threat was hidden from most, the preparation gave a sense of purpose and unity. Alex watched from the control room, monitoring both orbital and ground preparations. He could see the dedication, the courage, and the determination in everyone. He knew the aliens thought humans would crumble under pressure. He knew they had underestimated what made humans dangerous, their will to survive and their ability to unite. In a dark corner of the universe, the alien scouts reported back to their command. "Humans are preparing more than we expected," said one officer, worry creeping into the voice. "They are learning, adapting, and coordinating. Our strike may not be as easy as we thought." The commander's eyes narrowed. "Overconfidence is their weakness. We will strike where they are weakest, and the rest will fall like dominoes. Humans are clever, yes, but cleverness will not save them." But the humans did not rely solely on technology or cleverness. They relied on teamwork, courage, and trust. Every pilot, soldier, and civilian had a role, and each role mattered. The aliens did not understand that unity could turn ordinary people into warriors capable of extraordinary acts. As weeks passed, final preparations were made. Drop pods were stocked, weapons calibrated, and communication networks hardened. Soldiers trained until exhaustion, civilians practiced until every step was second nature, and pilots flew drills that pushed the limits of skill and endurance. One evening, Noah and Hannah stood on the observation deck, looking at the planets below. The quiet calm of space belied the storm that was approaching. They shared a moment of silence, understanding the weight of the days ahead. "Are we ready?" Hannah asked softly. Noah looked at her, then at the glowing blue of Earth in the distance. "We will be ready. We have to be. For every person, for every colony, for our home. They may have strength, but we have something they cannot understand. We have each other." Hannah nodded. "Then we fight, and we make them regret underestimating us." In hidden hangars, stations, and colonies across the planet, the same thought echoed. Humans would not hide. Humans would not surrender. Humans would stand united and prepared. The aliens may have believed no one would come, but they had underestimated the spirit of Earth. As night fell over the training grounds and orbital stations, soldiers rested briefly, civilians went home to shelters, and pilots checked their ships one last time. The calm was temporary, but it was a calm earned through sweat, planning, and determination. The humans of Earth were readying themselves for the moment when the first strike would come, and when it did, they would not flee. They would not surrender. They would fight together, with every ounce of courage, skill, and determination they had. The aliens had no idea that the warriors of Earth were being forged in that quiet, tireless preparation. Alex watched the signals on his screen. Megan ran diagnostics on her ship. Noah walked the training grounds, and Hannah adjusted the final strategies. All across Earth, from the smallest colonies to the largest stations, the same truth spread silently. Humans were no longer scattered and weak. They were united, ready, and prepared to rise when the sky fell. And in the distant void, the alien scouts recorded these preparations, thinking them insignificant, unaware that the real threat was not technology, numbers, or firepower. It was the human will to protect, to survive, and to fight back. The day of reckoning was drawing closer, and the warriors of Earth were ready to prove that hope, courage, and unity were more powerful than anyone, even the strongest alien force, had imagined. The quiet of space shattered when the first human ships appeared over the occupied colonies. No one had expected the suddenness. Streaks of fire cut through the black, leaving trails of light that glowed against the void. Ryan Cole, leading the first wave of drop pods, felt the familiar rush of adrenaline. Everything he had trained for, every simulation, every drill had led to this moment. "Formation Alpha ready," Ryan said into his comm. "We're going in." Below him, alien defenses stirred, but the commanders hesitated. They had not expected humans to appear so quickly, so decisively, and in such numbers. Their confidence faltered for the first time. Automated turrets activated, shields rose, and ships prepared to engage, but the humans had already begun their descent. Drop pods launched from orbit, carrying soldiers who had trained for years for this single moment. Megan Price guided her squadron through the defenses, weaving between enemy fire with precision. Each maneuver, each shot, each command was practiced hundreds of times, but now every action carried real stakes. "Watch your flanks," Megan shouted. "Cover each other." Noah King led a unit through one of the first landing zones. The pods crashed into the ground with controlled force, shields absorbing most of the impact. Soldiers poured out, weapons ready, and engaged the aliens immediately. The aliens fired back, but the humans were faster, smarter, and coordinated. Every movement was calculated, every team supporting the other. "Push forward," Noah yelled. "Don't give them room." Hannah Brooks monitored the entire operation from orbit, directing reinforcements and coordinating drops. Her fingers moved across the controls like a pianist, sending commands, adjusting flight paths, and tracking every hostile unit. "Keep moving," she said. "We control the pace, we dictate the fight." The aliens scrambled. Their shields, designed to withstand any ordinary human attack, flickered under the concentrated fire. Their ships moved to intercept, but the humans anticipated their moves. Small strike teams neutralized key points of defense, while fighter crafts harassed larger vessels, creating openings for drop pods to land. Alex Brown oversaw communications and intelligence. He coordinated with units on the ground, relaying enemy positions and supply points. His mind raced as he analyzed every new movement. "They underestimated us," he muttered, "and now they will pay." In one sector, Megan's squad engaged a group of alien fighters. Lasers zipped past her ship as she twisted and turned, keeping her craft between the enemy and the drop pods below. She fired carefully, picking off one fighter after another, her eyes sharp and focused. "We're holding them back," she shouted. "Keep the pods safe." Ryan Cole and his team had breached the first defensive perimeter. The aliens had expected hesitation, but they faced fierce resistance. Soldiers moved with determination, each kill, each strike pushing the enemy back. Small teams worked together to disable key structures, opening paths for reinforcements. They thought they could take the colonies easily, Ryan said, breathing heavily. They thought no one would come. They were wrong. Noah's unit encountered a heavily armed alien squad. The enemy fired relentlessly, but the humans were trained to adapt. Shields raised, tactics shifted, and grenades cleared the path. Every action was coordinated, every soldier aware of their teammate's position. In moments, the aliens found themselves outmaneuvered, retreating in confusion. "We're stronger than they think," Noah said, voice firm. "And we fight together." Back in orbit, Hannah adjusted the drop zones as new threats appeared. Her voice was steady over the comms. "Pods to Sector 5, support incoming. Cover the civilians." Civilians had been hidden in bunkers, but some key personnel needed extraction. Small teams moved swiftly, rescuing them while the battle raged around them. Every move had been practiced, yet now it mattered more than ever. Alex monitored incoming reports of alien ships attempting to regroup. He tapped the console rapidly, calculating trajectories, weak points, and likely escape routes. "Their formation is breaking," he said. "We exploit this now." Megan led a concentrated strike, drawing the attention of enemy cruisers. She knew it was risky, but she also knew that distraction was necessary to allow the drop pods to land safely. Her squadron weaved through incoming fire, precise and deadly. Lasers hit targets, engines flared, and the alien ships began to falter. On the ground, Noah and Ryan's units continued to push forward. Alien soldiers tried to regroup, but human coordination was too strong. They moved from cover to cover, using every advantage they had trained for. Even when faced with superior firepower, humans adapted, flanking, retreating strategically, and attacking from unexpected angles. "We won't stop," Ryan shouted. "We protect our home." In the chaos of battle, civilians watched in awe and fear from secure locations. Children clutched each other. Parents whispered prayers, but hope burned in their eyes. They could see the humans fighting with everything they had, proving that they were not weak, that they were capable of standing against impossible odds. Alex's voice came over the network. "Ground units, coordinate with orbital support. Target the enemy supply lines. Every ship, every pod, every soldier counts. We hold this line, we push them back, and we take the colonies." The aliens, who had thought themselves invincible, began to realize the humans were different than anything they had faced before. Their attacks were precise, but the humans anticipated every move. Their formations broke, their confidence faltered, and their command structure became chaotic. "They fight like nothing we have seen," an alien officer said nervously. "They are organized, relentless, and fearless." "Fearless," the commander hissed. "No, they are animals. We will crush them." But the humans were no animals. They were soldiers, civilians, pilots, and leaders who had trained for this moment. Every strategy, every tactic, and every act of courage counted. Megan guided a damaged fighter back to base after a successful strike. Her hands shook slightly from adrenaline, but she felt satisfaction. They had done what they had trained for. They had held the enemy at bay, opening the path for the rest of the forces. "We're making a difference," she said quietly. "We're changing the fight." Noah's unit reached the central command of the alien forces on the colony. Heavy defenses and elite soldiers tried to stop them, but coordinated attacks, precise strikes, and human determination pushed the aliens back. Explosions lit up the sky, and the sound of laser fire echoed across the ground. Every step forward was hard one, but no one faltered. "Push them back," Noah shouted. "We don't stop until the colonies are safe." Ryan coordinated with orbital units, directing reinforcements to critical points. The aliens attempted counterattacks, but the humans anticipated every move. Ships, drop pods, and ground troops worked in harmony, a force that seemed larger than the sum of its parts. Hannah monitored the battle from orbit, guiding teams through the chaos. "We control the fight," she said. "We set the pace. We are stronger than they expect. In the midst of battle, Alex noticed alien communications being intercepted. He analyzed the codes, learning their next movements. They are retreating in some sectors, he said. Push forward. We don't give them time to regroup. The alien commander's anger grew. Their perfect strike had failed. The humans had moved faster, adapted smarter, and fought with a unity that the aliens could not understand. Their pride began to crumble, replaced by fear. How is this possible? The commander hissed. They should not be able to resist. They should have surrendered. But humans did not surrender. Humans did not retreat. Humans fought for each other, for their home, and for their future. Every pilot, soldier, and civilian had become part of a force the aliens could not predict, could not break. Ryan led the final push to the alien command center on the colony. Soldiers moved with determination, clearing every obstacle and securing every area. The aliens tried to counterattack, but human coordination and adaptability proved unstoppable. "We did it," Ryan said breathlessly, looking at the retreating enemy. "We held the colony. We made them pay for every step." Noah and his soldiers regrouped, checking the perimeter and ensuring the civilians were safe. Injuries were treated quickly and supplies were distributed. Even in victory, the humans did not relax. Every moment was used to prepare for the next wave, for the next strike. In orbit, Hannah smiled faintly. "We did it," she said. "The first wave is complete, and they know we are here." Alex and Megan exchanged looks over the communication network. Exhaustion was visible, but so was pride. Humans had shown what they could do. The aliens had thought they would be easy prey, but the humans had risen from the shadows of preparation and training, striking with speed, coordination, and courage. The aliens retreated, their fleet scattered, their pride wounded, and their confidence shaken. They had learned a lesson they would not forget. Humans were not weak, they were not divided, and they did not yield when cornered. On Earth and across the colonies, celebrations were quiet but filled with relief. Soldiers cleaned their weapons, civilians checked their shelters, and pilots returned to base. Every person knew that the war was far from over, but the first strike had shown that humans could fight back and win against the impossible. Ryan, Noah, Megan, Alex, and Hannah gathered briefly on the observation deck of a station, looking at the black void of space. Streaks of alien retreat could be seen in the distance. The calm was temporary, but it was a calm earned through courage, skill, and unity. "They underestimated us," Ryan said, "and that's their first mistake of many," Noah nodded. "We will keep fighting. We will protect every colony, every person, and we will show them that humans are not weak, we are warriors." Megan looked out at the stars. "They thought no one would come, they were wrong, and they will never forget it." Alex placed a hand on the console, watching the retreating signals of the enemy. "This is only the beginning, but now they know they cannot take us lightly. Not now, not ever." And in the distance, the alien command fleet moved through space, shocked and cautious. The humans of Earth had fallen from the sky, unstoppable and united, and the galaxy had witnessed the power of hope, courage, and relentless determination. The warriors of Earth had arrived, and they would not be denied. The alien fleet retreated into the darkness of space, their ships scarred and their confidence shattered. Commanders argued, blaming each other for mistakes, for underestimating humans. Their pride had been their weakness, and now they faced the reality of a species they had thought weak, scattered, and easy to destroy. Alex Brown stood on the command deck of the orbital station, watching the retreating enemy signals. His hands rested on the console, his eyes scanning for any sign of regrouping. The humans had won this battle, but Alex knew the war was far from over. The aliens would return, stronger and more determined, yet humans had learned a lesson too. Unity and courage could overcome fear and firepower. "We held them," Megan Price said softly, standing beside him. Her face was streaked with sweat and dust from the battle. "We actually held them," Alex nodded, "and more than that. We taught them something they will never forget. Humans are not easy prey. We fight, we adapt, and we protect what matters. Below them, on the colonies, soldiers secured the areas, helping civilians and clearing the remaining threats. Small teams went from building to building, ensuring that no alien forces remained. Even as the adrenaline faded, the sense of purpose remained. People had seen what humans could do when they fought together. Noah King walked through the streets of one liberated colony, checking on soldiers and civilians alike. His boots kicked up dust from the shattered defenses, and every corner held reminders of the struggle. Yet, despite the damage, hope filled the eyes of the people. They had survived, they had fought, they had prevailed. "This is what we trained for," he said quietly to Ryan Cole, who followed close behind. "Every drill, every obstacle, every night spent preparing, it all led here, and we did not fail." Ryan nodded, looking around. "They thought we would hide, they thought we would flee, but we stood and we fought, and we showed them the truth." Hannah Brooks coordinated from orbit, directing resources to rebuild defenses and provide supplies. She watched reports of alien survivors retreating into distant systems, knowing that they would return if left unchecked. She tapped commands, guiding rescue operations, medical teams, and transport pods carrying food, water, and supplies to the colonies. "Keep every unit alert," she said to her teams. "The enemy will not give up easily. We have to be ready for the next wave, and we will be ready." On Earth, celebrations were quiet but meaningful. Families embraced each other, soldiers shared stories of bravery, and communities came together to honor those who had fought and those who had been lost. The humans had shown that even in the darkest moments, courage and unity could light a path forward. Laura Bennett reviewed reports from multiple colonies. The damage was extensive, but nothing was irreparable. Supplies had reached everyone, civilians were safe, and soldiers were organized and ready for any new threat. She looked at the maps, noting where reinforcements would be stationed and where training programs needed expansion. "This is not the end," she said to Luke Harris, who stood beside her, "but it is a beginning. A beginning of proving that humans will never be conquered, never be underestimated, and never surrender." Luke nodded. "They saw the worst of us, and we were just beginning. They will remember that humans rise when cornered, that we fight for each other, and that hope is stronger than fear." In the colonies, Megan returned to her squadron after a successful mission. Her fighters were damaged but functional. She moved among the pilots, checking on them, offering words of encouragement and listening to their stories. Every pilot had done their part, and every pilot had survived because of teamwork, courage, and trust. "We made them retreat," Megan said quietly, smiling at her squad. "And we will keep them from coming back too soon." Ryan Cole checked on Noah's units. Soldiers cleaned their weapons, treated injuries, and prepared for redeployment. Morale was high, but discipline remained. They knew the aliens might regroup, but they were ready. Humans did not rely on luck. They relied on preparation, unity, and the will to survive. "We cannot stop," Ryan said. "Every colony, every station, every person protected. That is our responsibility, and we will do it." Alex and Hannah coordinated the final tracking of the alien fleet. Sensors showed fragmented ships fleeing into deep space. Some would be hunted down, others would regroup. The humans had won the battle, but the strategic war was ongoing. Every decision mattered. Every action could tip the balance. "They underestimated us," Alex said, "and they will not make that mistake again." "Good," Hannah replied. "Let them remember who they face. Humans do not fight for conquest. We fight to protect, to survive, and to defend. And that is what makes us dangerous." In a quiet room, Noah reflected on the battle, thinking of every soldier, every pilot, and every civilian who had contributed. Bravery came in many forms, not just in combat but in care, support, and the will to act. Humans had fought together, and that unity had created a force no one could ignore. "We have shown them our strength," he said softly, "and we will continue to show it." Ryan stood beside him, looking out at the stars. They thought this would be easy. They believed no one would come, and now they know humans will rise from the shadows and strike with everything we have. They will think twice before challenging us again. On Earth, citizens watched the news and signals from the colonies. Images of brave soldiers, skilled pilots, and united communities filled the screens. Hope spread, replacing fear. Children learned that courage was not just for stories, but for real life. Parents learned that sacrifice and preparation were the foundations of survival. Humans had survived against overwhelming odds, and the story traveled across the globe. Alex stood before a global council, delivering a message. Humans do not seek war, but we will always defend our home, our people, and our allies. The battle we fought today proves that hope, courage, and unity are stronger than fear, firepower, and arrogance. We will continue to prepare, and we will continue to protect. His words echoed through every station, every colony, and every listening post. Humans had become more than survivors. They had become warriors in the eyes of the galaxy. Back in orbit, Hannah reviewed the final battle simulations, ensuring every potential weakness was addressed. Supplies were replenished, pilots trained, and soldiers prepared for redeployment. Humans had won, but the vigilance would never end. Every moment of preparation could mean the difference between survival and defeat. "We are ready for anything," she said. Because humans never stop and humans never surrender. The alien commanders, now far from human space, reviewed their reports in disbelief. "We were wrong," said one officer. "They are stronger, faster, and more coordinated than we imagined. We cannot underestimate them." "Never again," the commander hissed. "We will need greater forces, smarter tactics, and more caution. Humans are not weak. Humans are dangerous." And so the galaxy learned a new truth. Humans did not conquer through force alone. They did not dominate through fear. Humans united, adapted, and fought for what they loved, and that made them unstoppable. The warriors of Earth had fallen from the sky, and no one who witnessed it would doubt their strength again. Alex, Megan, Noah, Ryan, Hannah, Laura, Luke, and countless others stood together looking at the stars. They had faced overwhelming odds and emerged victorious. They had protected their home, their people, and their way of life. "We are human," Alex said quietly. "We do not give up, we do not surrender, and we never will," Megan smiled. "And the universe will remember that." Noah nodded. "They may return, but we are ready. And when they come, they will find that humans are not the weak species they thought. We are fighters, survivors, and protectors. We are warriors." Ryan looked up at the sky. "And we will fall from the stars again if we must, to protect what is ours." And across the colonies, stations, and Earth itself, humans celebrated quietly, prepared loudly, and stood ready. The aliens had learned their lesson. Earth was not a world to be taken lightly. Humans would rise, fight, and protect their own, and the legend of that day would spread across the stars forever. The warriors of Earth had come, had fought, and had triumphed. And the galaxy would never forget.